the book, Every Day is an Atheist Holiday, Penn Gillette. Say hello to financial expert and former CNN anchor, Nicole Lappin. And of course, welcome my inspiration and legendary newswoman, Sue Simmons. Okay, so the nation is still mourning the victims and families of the shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. In the wake of this tragedy, our country has been renewing this conversation that seems to be ongoing all here and there about gun control. President Obama addressed the issue in a press conference yesterday. Take a look.
A majority of Americans support banning the sale of military-style assault weapons. A majority of Americans support banning the sale of high-capacity ammunition clips. A majority of Americans support laws requiring background checks before all gun purchases so that criminals can't take advantage of legal loopholes to buy a gun from somebody who won't take the responsibility of doing a background check at all. I urge the new Congress to hold votes on these measures next year in a timely manner.
Okay. We are going to start with Nicole, your thoughts?
This is very simple. There should be no semi-automatic weapons, period. They can easily be turned into machine guns. Who needs a machine gun? Hunters don't need a machine gun. You don't need a machine gun at a shooting range. If this lunatic in Connecticut walked in with a handgun, he could have killed 2 people, which is a tragedy, but he wouldn't have the power to kill 26 people in the way he did.
So here's the question. When the coverage first started, I'm thinking, what was the mother doing with an assault rifle? And, you know, we had that misinformation out there, her being a teacher at the school, you know. I said, if she's a hunter, if she's a target shooter, what does she need with an assault? And nobody spoke about it for the first 3 days. And I guess that's because it was too raw, you know, and they didn't want to hurt people's feelings while they're still alive. But that's got to be addressed.
The only ones that should have it, SWAT team and military. No one else.
People are blaming the mother, and she is dearly departed, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. What was she doing with the gun? Why was she, this boy apparently had mental issues. Why would she be taking him to the gun range? Why was she sleeping with her guns out in the open like that? You know, he came in, she was sleeping, and then he shot her. This is also a mental health issue. You know, we need a mental health czar in every county in this country because...
Most bordering on all people with mental health do no damage to anyone, ever. And most people who have guns do no damage to anyone. This is an atrocity, but this is also an anomaly. We have to be very careful, those of us who are on TV, to not spend our time scaring children in order to make political points. What happened there was horrible, but we must remember it's very, very rare. We can save many more children by taking better care of our swimming pools and by using seatbelts. The way children die is many ways. We should do a little bit of prioritizing because this is way down on the list. Up on the list is swimming pools, and up on the list is caring for children in ways that we really can. And fighting against stuff that is a complete anomaly can be a waste of time, can be grandstanding, and can also scare our children.
Yeah, but how is it a waste of time if in the last 6 months there were more deaths by handgun-related suicides or homicides than in any terrorist attack?
Time Magazine put together a list of the worst mass shootings in the past 50 years in this country, and according to Time, between the years of 1966 and 2001, a 35-year period, there were 11 mass shootings. These things don't happen in Switzerland, and these things only seem to happen here in our country.
Maybe we should take a look at Israel's laws. Now, there's a land where people are afraid and can be attacked at any moment. And there you have to have a 60-day waiting period to get a gun. You have to have a mental health evaluation. And there's certain other things that are stringent there.
In Texas, there's a school where the teachers are now either about to start carrying guns or they all carry guns. The teachers, would that make the school safer?
You did compare...
It's the most idiotic thing I've ever
going to use it.
I think so also.
You did compare it to terrorist attacks. You did not compare it to other things like giving vaccines out to people. What show business has done is made vaccines seem bad, and people are dying of whooping cough in Beverly Hills.
Arming teachers is the answer?
No, I was saying this before that. Most people that have guns don't use them on other people. You said if you had a gun, you're going to use it.
Well,
you don't.
what's that saying? If you have a gun, you better be able to use it?
Most people are overwhelmingly good.
Okay,
No,
well,
but most people have a gun. 350 million Americans, there are 310 million guns.
Right, that doesn't mean that most people have a gun. It doesn't distribute exactly that
but,
way.
you know, people,
You know
are
that.
blaming
You shouldn't
violence
say
in
that.
movies and videos
Well, that's
on
insane.
this.
That's
No,
insane.
Really?
It's not
What is it
insane.
called? Art of War, Man of War? What are the kids playing
That's
today?
Call of
We
Duty.
don't allow that in our house. Really? So busy buying Call of Duty. There needs to be more hugs in households.
Those aren't mutually exclusive.
Well,
Nothing in Call of Duty says you can't hug your family.
well, you know what?
Nothing
This boy's
there's no-
favorite game pen was Call of Duty.
Yes, and many peaceful people, you're doing the same thing. Call of Duty is the most popular game there is. Everyone's playing it, so of course bad people are going to play it too.
Yeah.
To try to blame Shakespeare and the violence in Shakespeare and the violence in art for violence that happens in the real world is something that's been tried for years and is always wrong. People must take responsibility. We must stop blaming society and actually blame the perpetrator.
Yeah, you know what?
Call of Duty is something that young people like and enjoy, and it's a game.
I think
and
that's
most of those
parents
people aren't.
observe
Most of the
their
people
kids.
are violent. Most of the people are violent.
We need to
Most
take
people are good.
responsibility for our own houses.
And we have to stop disliking our children. We attack comic books. We attack monster movies. Now we're attacking video games. Love our children and know that they
Take
can
care of your
play.
household.
Let them play.
Jamie Foxx is one of the only celebrities that
Jamie
cleaned
Foxx
up
is
stuff.
wrong.
Well, he said
Dead
we
wrong.
cannot turn our backs and say that violence in films or anything that we do doesn't have some sort of influence. It does. I go along with that.
Blame the killers. Why not blame the killers?
Well, some of the
Do
killers
not
learn their
blame the
killers
artists.
through movies.
Blame the killers, not the artists.
Alright.
Why are you blaming artists for something that bad people did?
And it's,
Shakespeare is not a bad person. He wrote beautiful stuff. It has suicide, it has murder, and it tells us something about our hearts. And people who watch Shakespeare don't kill. And Call of Duty is art. It is not some sort of propaganda thing.
Well,
And that's
how about
an easy
this?
way
How
to.
about this? This is a case of violence with guns, video games, and mental health. Now, here's a kid who was borderline autistic with Asperger's. They have a lot of social problems.
But
They don't know how to
no
they don't
violent
interact.
problems.
No. Autistic kids are usually victims. My point is that if you sit this kid in a room all day shooting people, if they have no social skills,
How do you know that?
because
You're
it's
making that
been,
up.
well, it's been reported.
There's no evidence that Asperger's syndrome people go violent from playing
No,
games.
that's
You
not what I'm
have
saying.
not one data point of evidence on that.
I'm not saying that.
Well, you just said it.
Well, let me try to be
Okay,
clearer.
please.
Here's a person who has troubles figuring out what's social and what's not. And he's inundated with shoot. And then
Right.
a little plan comes across, well, maybe I'll just go to school and shoot people.
It's just not cause and effect where it doesn't exist.
There's no guilt. There's no guilt. There's no conscience.
It's not true that there's no guilt and no
He wouldn't
conscience.
have got
That's not
contact with his
Asperger's.
barber.
Please don't tear those people apart.
I'm
I
not
have good
trying to
friends
tear-
with
they are very
Asperger's.
intelligent
They have conscience. They have empathy. All of that is not true. You're spreading lies about people who are part of our society and who we need to love and take care of and
Okay,
cherish.
it's not the media, it is not violent movies, it is the politicians. And I call on the politicians
What
to
about
do
family?
something once and for all.
The politicians won't do anything until the people speak up, and that means all of us. They are afraid not to be reelected. They're afraid that the people who support gun control will not vote for them and they won't get in. So you have to let them know that we are not for assault guns for the average person.
Please let us not attack people with Asperger's syndrome.
No. But I will say this, okay? The media is still in the town of Newtown, and there are signs all over the place saying it's time for you to leave. I think that the
And
media
stop
needs to
scaring
go
our children.
home and leave them alone.
Stop scaring our
What do you say? It's the CNN newsroom. What do you say?
I speak from personal experience. The media's job is to shine a light on some of the darkest
But you can do that
places
if
in our
there's a
world.
parent. Parents can blog. They need to leave these kids alone. So what do you say?
The media is part of the solution.
I would say that the first few days there needed to be heavy coverage
Yeah.
because it's a horrific story. But after a week or two, Maybe let your Connecticut people hang in there a little bit, but all that national media and the trucks and the horns and the screaming.
Penn, you think the media needs to know?
I think the media has done terrible, terrible things to us, misunderstanding math. It's an anomaly. It's a horrific thing, but I don't want my children scared by this stuff running 24 hours, and we probably shouldn't be talking about it, all things considered.
Yeah. Well, it was a big story of the week, and that's what we do here on Hot
You
Talk.
keep underlining story, and it's not a story, it's a tragedy.
It is a very
It's
big
not a
tragedy.
story.
How about it's a tragic story?
It's a tragic story.
You have to do more than tell stories.
This is what I love about our Hot Talk channel. Thank you all for being here. Oh my God.
People don't become violent. There's no evidence.
For more
of that.
information on our panelists, go to wendyshow.com. Up next, everybody, it's time for our holiday gift